So this gets into farming. And I've been thinking about this a while, and I know I'm a little bit biased here because I love my farmers market. You guys know my romance. Well, romance is a weird way to put it, but you know my situation with the Apple, the guy who I have affectionately named Apple Bro in my neighborhood, the farmers market I go to. There's this guy. He's the Apple person, and he's very confident. Very confident. This Apple person. And I found out it's because his apples are very good. The first week I went there, he just looked at me and he was like, "Hey, have you ever had our apples before?" I said, "No." And he goes, "Okay." And just turns around. That was all I did. He just turned around. I'm like, wow, this guy. So I tried his apples. I realized why he has that confidence. These apples, oh, I mean, I can taste them now just talking about them. They're incredible apples. And if you use the promo code Ron at checkout, no, I'm just kidding. I don't even know the guy's name because I would keep going back. I went back week after week. And Apple Bro, a lot of confidence. He almost has this thing like you're inconveniencing him when you show up at his booth. Like, yeah, I get it. My apples are awesome. I'm actually the mayor. The mayor of what, you ask? California. You didn't know California had a mayor? Yeah, it does, and I'm it. I sell these apples for fun. Like, that's the confidence this dude has, right? So they did stop the farmers markets in my neighborhood. And I did not look it up online in advance on Thursday. So I went to my farmer's market thinking I was just going to my farmer's market, and I get there and no one's there. And I actually, for a split second, I expected to like walk into the market anyway and see Apple Bro there holding the heads of all the other produce salespeople going, "Yes, I have conquered. My apples conquer all. I now control all the vegetables and the fruit and the cheeses and the kombuchas you can get and the breads. I'm that guy now. Mayor of California, Apple Bro. Try an apple. I made a deal with the devil to get the apples this good. My son died tragically at the age of 27 so that I could have the most delicious apples. And my soul will be damned for eternity. But isn't that the best Granny Smith you ever been into?" And I was going to be like, "Why did you cut off everybody's head, Apple Bro?" And it'll be like, "Don't ask questions. Do you want apples or not?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, I'll take some apples." That's what I thought might happen. Apple Bro wasn't there. Apple Bro was not there. So I think getting to the point. So here's what's going on. Because farmers markets are closing, they're not able to happen now. And I will say, at my farmers market, people were practicing social distancing. You had to wait for your turn to go into, into the tent to get whatever you wanted. There were tape markers, so people were staying far apart. And I get it that we really need to be cautious. I understand that. However, I think that farmers markets should be considered essential services the same way grocery stores are. And I understand how some people might feel differently. I have a feeling that here live, some of you aren't going to agree with that. Some of you are. And I get it. I get the argument that, well, gee, Ron, at a grocery store, you can kind of get the whole spectrum of foods. You can kind of cover the whole gamut, get all your needs, all your food needs. At a farmer's market, it's a little more specialized. Okay, that's true. But here's the deal. You can get produce of a certain quality at a farmer's market that you can't get otherwise. That's insanely important, especially during a time when people are very susceptible and people are very vulnerable. The right vitamins and nutrients go a long way, and you get a lot of that from fruits and vegetables. So that's insanely important. Also, here's the other thing. Farmers aren't able to get their bounties out. So here's something that's going on. This is from CNN Business, and they didn't have a picture of Anderson Cooper pop up. I'm a little disappointed. Farmers are throwing out food that could go to food banks. I like how there's a little subtle shaming in the farmers right away, by the way. Like they try to make it out like it's the farmer's fault. And here's the deal. Farmers only have so many resources to distribute things. And they only have so much that they can do with their bounties. A lot of farmers do donate to food banks, first of all. A lot of them do that. And they can only do so much because, they're counting on restaurants buying some of their bounty. They're counting on people buying some of their bounty. They rely on that so that their farm's sustainable. And if they can't do any of that, they can't just drive around and distribute it to anyone that could need it because, I mean, they got a farm to run. You know what I mean? Like it's not that they don't want to. I'm sure a lot of them do. So anyway, I like the subtle, like it's the farmer's fault. It's not. It's anyway. The American Farm Bureau and Feeding America want to change that. So here's what's going on. Food banks are in desperate need of donations. The American Farm Bureau, which represents American agriculture producers, and Feeding America, a network of 200 food banks and 60,000 food pantries nationwide, teamed up to call on government officials to help connect farmers with food banks. The letter comes as millions of people newly unemployed flood the doors of food banks, food pantries, and soup kitchens. So, basically, I sincerely hope something goes through that better connects farmers to food banks. That's essentially important. But this is why I do think farmers markets should still be open. And in some cases, they are reopening. A lot of them, I know the farmers markets in my community, they're taking it 1 week at a time. They're kind of looking at the numbers and they're trying to open when they can. But another thing that a farmers markets does is it aids distribution. A lot of times you'll see farmers and you'll see volunteers that they go around and the stuff that farmers didn't sell that maybe they want to donate, they'll give to a food bank. So farmers markets ease the distribution issue at a time where the government is doing nothing to help. And the government should interfere to help. There should be some kind of distribution mechanism set up so that no farmer anywhere has to waste any of their harvest. First of all, we should never be wasting food, period. And under no circumstance should food ever be wasted in this country. Ever. In the world, for that matter. Food should never, ever be wasted. But, when you're in a situation like this, when you're in a pandemic like this, there should be a better distribution service available. I think there should be services available where people can go to the farmers markets to get certain items for people who can't go because they're more immunocompromised and deliver the food to them. There should be a logistics service available so that no farmer has to get rid of any of their bounty and they can get their food to food banks or other people in need. All of that should exist. It shouldn't be on the farmer's back. And by the way, other countries have stuff like that. England, I have a friend in England. I was messaging with him the other day. First of all, his wages are being covered. Most people's wages are being covered. So his wages are being covered. And he's actually working for a service that delivers food to people that are the most vulnerable, elderly people that are immunocompromised, et cetera, et cetera. He's delivering food to those people. That's what he's doing. Because his wages are met. And he can't work right now. But the government's taking care of its people. They're doing what a federal government's supposed to do. So, yeah, and I get it. I get, I know some people are going to say, no, farmers markets need to stay closed. And I understand the argument for it. But I think that when you weigh it all out, farmers markets should be treated the same as grocery stores. And of course, in each case, we should practice social distancing the best we absolutely can. Wear masks, of course, wear gloves when you can. Hand sanitize quite often. I'm thinking about it right now. Hand sanitizing, maintain the 6 feet. So, but I get it. It's a really tough, it's a tough call to make. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. Get your news on with Ron. Don't you want to know what's going on? We're getting our news on today. You can tweet me an article at Ron Placone. We'll go through it together and make it our own. Get your news